Hi, welcome back. Waxing on Friday, wrapping up James Bond week, and let's go back to the originals. We're back to those original albums, kicked off with Dr. No. Now you'll notice on this one, John Barry's not listed. And to me, even though John Barry did a lot of work, I'm going to just give you some idea. He did soundtracks for Dances with Wolves, Out of Africa, Chaplin, Midnight Cowboy, Cotton Club. I still connect him to James Bond. That's first thing I think of when I think of John Barry. Dr. No, well, it was his orchestra that played it. Somebody else did some of the writing, but John Sir worked his way in, and all of a sudden he became the music of James Bond. I did albums from 1963 right through to 1987. His last album was Living Daylights, the one that Timothy Dalton premiered in, and that was the last one he had actually worked on the score for. But it's his great music that we've been celebrating most of this week. Now, Ed Lister's group with Decades of Bond, they've done some of the music that occurred since his passing. But the Sex Mob one, obviously all John Barry. And I'm going to just say, why not go back and just experience those original albums, the original soundtracks. James Bond still popular? Sure it is. Hey, Father's Day this year, what did I get for my daughter? The James Bond collection. Five novels, originals by Ian Fleming. We're covering here Casino Royale, Thunderball, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, and Live and Let Die. I can't wait to crank this open, relive some of those great stories. And again, it still lives on in books, in movies, in soundtracks. It's just a phenomenon. Now, John Barry, to me, again, he represents what James Bond was all about. There is so much great stuff on these albums, and when I was younger, I didn't appreciate them as much as I should have. The session musicians that played on these, they're just some great, great players. And of course, when we talk James Bond, we talk James Bond films and soundtracks, we cannot not mention Derek Watkins. Played on every James Bond soundtrack from Dr. No right through to Skyfall. Dr. No, can you imagine 17-year-old kid Derek in there playing lead trumpet on Dr. No? I mean, gosh, he's barely out of high school here, and this guy's the lead trumpet player for the James Bond films for, I don't know how many years that was, the majority of the series, right up to Skyfall, until he passed. And again, he's just an excellent player. And if you go on Derek's Wikipedia page and take a look, he's another one of those guys, kind of like Tom Malone or Leland Sklar. You look at it and say, who hasn't he played with? I mean, we talked about Derek a week or so ago with James Last playing with that band, but I mean, there are so many artists that he has performed with. It is just unbelievable. And yet here he is, one of those background session men that so many people are unaware of. And yet he was the sound, for me, of the James Bond albums, being a trumpet player. I mean, I love that. And his high note work and his lead playing on the James Bond stuff, it's just excellent. And if you get a chance, go back and listen to some of these soundtracks. I know we listen while we're listening to or watching the movie, and you hear it, and it adds that atmosphere and gives you those feelings that fit the scene. But when you actually just listen to the music and listen to the performances by these artists, I mean, these guys are so underrated and so unrecognized. It is really sad. We need to get more attention for them, you know, as session players for what they do, because they really contributed to the soundtrack of our life. So today, we're just going back and mentioning, go back and check out those John Barry albums, the early ones, Thunderball, From Russia with Love, any of those albums right through to the Living Daylights, and just see the great work he has done putting that together, the way that music ties together, and enjoy the great trumpet playing of Derek Watkins. Lost him way too soon. He was just an excellent player. I'd only wished I'd had a chance to see him play somewhere live. It would have been great. That's it for this week. James Bond music, celebrating it. We've talked about a couple of the artists that'll be starting with the Ottawa Jazz Festival. Kicks off tonight. Trombone Shorty is headliner tonight if you happen to be in the area. We've got Nora Jones coming in next week. Not one to be missed on that one. Go to the Ottawa International Jazz Festival website. Pull up. They'll show you all the concerts that are available, the different venues. They're all right in downtown Ottawa. Some of them are free concerts, lunch hours. always free concerts there. Great stuff. Local artists, but some excellent, excellent bands and great musicians to check out. It's going to be a fun week. We've got, 10 days. Ottawa Jazz Festival kicking off tonight. Put it on your calendar. See you next week. And I have no idea what we're going to be doing because we're going to be tied up in the Jazz Festival and that. We'll have some fun. We'll pick out some great tunes for you, something that you might need to know about. Till then, everybody take care. Stay safe. Listen to some great songs this weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Thanks for stopping by.